Good evening. I would like to call the Fairmont City Council regular meeting to order. If the city clerk would do a roll call of members, please.
Mayor Bolliard?
Present.
Councilmember Rice?
Here.
Councilmember Moran?
Here.
Councilmember Horton?
Yes.
Councilmember Wade?
Here.
Councilmember Weber?
Here.
Councilmember Soul?
Here.
Councilmember McDaniel?
Here.
Councilmember Newsom?
Here.
Thank you. We'll start with our opening ceremonies. We'll be led in prayer and meditation by the Reverend Leo Riley, and then the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Wade.
Good evening. Let us pray. Precious Heavenly Father, we come before you this day, Father, to give you praise, Lord, and honor today, Father. Thank you for yet another opportunity to stand before these people today, Father, and lift up your most holy name. Lord, we ask today, Father, that you'll bless everything that's going to be done here this day, Father, that you'll give them wisdom today, Father, concerning running the city today, Father. Give them insight today, Father. Touch each and every member today, Father, that everything that they do be for the benefit and uplifting of this city today, God. And we glorify your most holy name. Also cover them in as well as their families today, Father. Keep them in perfect peace as their minds stayed on you. In the precious name of Jesus, we do pray. And they all said amen and amen.
Amen. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Riley. Thank you, Councilmember Wade. Next, we have one proclamation this evening. Is there anyone present here from the NYAP? Seeing no one here, I'll go ahead and read the proclamation from this chair. Whereas children and youth are the most valuable resource of the state of West Virginia, and every child deserves a safe, stable, and nurturing home. And whereas during Foster Care Awareness Month, we recognize the resilience, strength, and potential of children and youth in foster care throughout West Virginia. And where there are hundreds of children and youth in West Virginia who are in need of safe, loving, and supportive foster families. And whereas foster parents, kinship givers, and adoptive families play a vital role in providing stability, hope, and healing to children who've experienced trauma, neglect, and abuse. And whereas the National Youth Advocate Program works diligently across West Virginia to recruit, train, and support foster families while providing comprehensive services to children and families in need. And whereas NYAP is committed to strengthening families, preserving connections, and ensuring that youth have the resources, advocacy, and permanency that they deserve. And whereas community awareness, partnership, engagement are essential to meeting the ongoing need for foster parents and ensuring positive outcomes for children and youth in foster care. Now, therefore, I, Ann Bolliard, Mayor of the City of Fairmont, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Foster Care Awareness Month and encourage all residents to recognize the importance of the role of foster parents, kinship givers, child welfare professionals, and community partners, such as the National Youth Advocate Program, play in improving the lives of children and families across our state. I hereunto and set my hand and cause the great seal of the City of Fairmont to be fixed to this, the 28th day of April, 2026. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is the approval of minutes. Has everyone had the opportunity? We have two sets of minutes to approve this evening. First, has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from our April 14th meeting? If so, do I have a motion, a second, to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any corrections to these minutes? As hearing none, all those in favor for approving the minutes from our April 14th regular meeting, please respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? As hearing none, those minutes are approved. Also, has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes from our levy meeting on April 21st? If so, do I have a motion, a second, to approve these minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any correction to the minutes? As hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from April 21st, 2026 from the levy meeting, please respond with aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? As hearing none, those minutes are also approved. We will go on next to our public hearing and announcements. We have one public hearing before us this evening. If the city clerk would read that by title, please.
An ordinance of the council for the City of Fairmont providing for the rezoning of the certain tracts or parcels of real estate situated in the City of Fairmont Grant Annex District, Marion County, being parcels 12, 12.1, 14, 15, and 48 of tax map 04-02 and parcel 98.2 of tax map 0407, said tracts or parcels of real estate being rezoned from general residential to neighborhood residential and providing for an amendment to the zoning map of the City of Fairmont.
Thank you. First, I'll ask if there's anyone present to speak in favor of the ordinance. If so, step to the podium to address council, please.
Mayor, members of council, Shay Strait, Director of Planning and Development. The Planning Commission met on this on January 21st of this year to discuss two petitions, BC 2509 and 2510. We decided to hear both of those together since they were adjacent to one another. After discussing those, there was a recommendation by staff to include a parcel that was encompassed by these proposed areas for rezoning by two private petitioners, which included the long-term care facility along Fairmont Avenue off of Kaufman Drive. So altogether, we've brought all this rezoning as a single ordinance before you tonight. After discussion with the Planning Commission, we found this to be in line with the adopted comprehensive plan for our goals, as well. The Planning Commission unanimously sent this forward to you all with a favorable recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else present to speak in favor of this ordinance, please step to the podium to address council.
Keith Axton with Ascent Consulting Engineering on behalf of two of the developments. We are just looking to get this approved so our clients can move forward and better the City of Fairmont.
Thank you. Anyone else present to speak in favor of this ordinance?
Madam Mayor, if I can, I also spoke before the Planning Commission to kind of highlight my perspective, having sat in meetings and been involved in this, and so I would like to speak in favor of the rezoning that's been brought to you all based on the action by the Planning Commission. In particular, I would like to highlight once again publicly the fact that the St. James Gate development being led by the Minas has the potential to be the single largest housing development opportunity in the city's history, which I think is huge and a testament to local investors, folks who are invested in this community. And I think that speaks volumes to the type of development that is potentially, coming in that area. Very excited by it. I know there's been a lot of work done by them and others, and I'm looking forward to that. But I also really just wanted to take this opportunity to speak in favor of this, but also to give, in particular, the Minas family a significant amount of kudos for their work and their efforts to bring forward this incredible development opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else present to speak in favor of this ordinance? Seeing none, is there anyone present to speak in opposition to this ordinance? Seeing none, I'll look to my colleagues on council. Any discussion from council regarding this ordinance before I close the public hearing?
I have none, but let's bring the ball home.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember McDaniel.
As council's rep on Planning Commission, I'll just echo what Mr. Strait said. They presented a ton of information. We had public hearings and planning as well. No one from the community spoke against it. And planning got to see the phase 1 plat at our last meeting. And there were some good representation from folks in the community come to that. No one spoke against it. They had tons of questions. However, the developer was really well informed. This is a well thought out project. They were able to answer all of the questions. I think everybody walked away feeling really good from that.
Thank you, Councilmember Moran. Any other discussion from my colleagues before I close the public hearing? As hearing none, this public hearing is now closed. Moving on to announcements. Deputy Mayor Rice, do you have any announcements for us this evening?
I have no announcements, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Moran.
North Central West Virginia Community Action has weatherization grants available. Those can help make your home more energy efficient. So if your energy bills were really high this winter, you notice things were drafty. If you can't keep up with the heat in the summer, they can help with things like insulation, sealing your windows. They do an energy audit of your home. It is income-based, and they focus on families, seniors, and individuals with disabilities. If you need more information, reach out. I will send along. I did share that on my Facebook page.
Thank you. Councilmember Horton.
I just want to know where we are in the demolition of the Sears property on Merchant Street.
I've provided City Council with an update in your weekly report on Friday, but happy to follow up with you on that, as that is a ongoing litigatory matter. It's not something I have the opportunity to discuss from here, but happy to follow up with you after the meeting.
One more thing. I've got a very threatening letter via email from Robin Cheney. Can you give me some background on?
So my understanding, that issue has nothing to do with the City of Fairmont. That issue has to do with the town of Worthington and issues associated with them and the Sheriff's Department. So I don't have any comment on that, but other than to say that I think their email is misplaced and directed at the wrong city.
I concur.
Thank you. Councilmember Wade.
Just wanted to thank the city. A couple weeks ago, they've got a condemned property on View Avenue. I believe it was 115 with reclaim tore down. So very happy and pleased. It was a one-day project, and they did a great job.
Thank you. Councilmember Weber.
Nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
You're most welcome. Councilmember Soul.
Nothing from me.
Thank you. Councilmember McDaniel.
Nor me.
Councilmember Newsom.
Just a reminder, National Day of Prayer next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. at Palatine Park. And this is the official opening of the park for the year.
Thank you. I have no announcements to share this evening, so we'll move on. We have one citizen's petition before us. If you'll step to the podium, sir, state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes to address council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Don Delusky. Some of you know me as Dr. Don Delusky, and I'm here to speak with you this evening about the water supply. And I want you to think about what I'm going to talk about the toxins in our water supply as it relates to chlorine and also as it relates to microplastic toxicity. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Let me get my glasses on here. Working like a one-armed band. First of all, did you ever see railroad cars go by? They have that big skull and crossbone on the side of the car. That's chlorine in there. That's what goes in your water supply. There's several other ways to chlorinate your water besides putting chlorine in a water supply. You could use ultraviolet, you could use reverse osmosis, and several other different manners, but there's a front-end cost for changing that. But the back-end costs are a huge saving because there's many diseases. For example, hardening of the arteries from chlorinated water, heart disease. You also have problems with cancer, the kidneys, the colon, and also the liver. So there's some things we should consider when we're talking about chlorine in the water supply. Also, did you know when you put chlorine in the water, it mixes with some organic matter? It breaks down to what we call a trihalomethane. Sorry, one second. All right. It died. Yeah, that happens. Thank you. When that breaks down, it breaks down into a trihalomethane. That's a carcinogen. It's very toxic. It kills a lot of us. In our community around here in the north central West Virginia area, we have a significantly higher rate of cancer than other most areas. Something we need to be concerned about. Now, water supply. They can't make the water perfectly sterile because think of what would happen to the fish. It would kill everything. You can't make water sterile. But think of what you dump in the toilet. How many pills, how much Drano, how many cleaners and bleaches you use and dump into the water, which eventually goes to the sewer, and it contaminates our rivers out there. You ladies should be very, what's the word I'm looking for here? You should be very aware of what's going on with something called a xenoestrogen. That's a estrogen-like chemical from all your cleaners, kitchen countertop cleaners, bathroom cleaners, and what this does is acts like a estrogen. And we all know that women are very susceptible to estrogen-dependent tumors. So when you do all that smelly stuff with the disinfecting and everything else, causes some secondary problems that you're really not aware of. Microplastics. How many of you have a microwave at home? Raise your hands. Anybody else back here? Microwave? You ever microwave anything in plastic in the microwave? Anybody? Well, if you don't, that's good, but if you do, you're taking all the petrochemicals that the plastic is made out of, and what you're doing is you're infusing it into your food. And now with the infusion of that into the food, it goes up into the brain, causes some issues with cognitive function, and also dementia, which is along with cognitive dysfunction. It affects your bladder, it affects your kidneys, and affects your liver. Microplastic toxicity. Did you ever hear of something called per- and polyfluoroalkyls? They were invented right around the beginning of the Second World War, about 1938. There's 15,000 of them now, and they're leaching into our water supply. No matter what your water supply is, it's leaching into that. It's a toxin, it's a carcinogen, and it's responsible for killing us. The reason I bring this up is, if you wanted to change, and I addressed the county commissioners on this also, if you really want to change the water supply, it's going to cost some money. And like I said, if you think of the tail end cost of what's the cost for treating cancer, diabetes, kidney problems with dialysis, heart disease, open heart surgery, something you might want to consider down the road when things are financially stable, that we might put it up to a public vote or a levy or whatever, get some grants from the federal government and the state government to see if we can change the dynamic of what we're putting into our water supply. Europe does not use chlorine. The whole continent of Europe does not use chlorine. And if you look at the health data associated with that, they have less cancer, they have less heart disease, they have greater longevity, they do less surgeries than what we do, and they live longer than we do. Something to think about. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, council, men and women, and thank you, Madam Mayor. I appreciate your time very much.
Thank you. Next, we will request for our city manager's report, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. My report this evening will be kind of short. As council's aware, just got back from Washington, D.C., visiting with our congressional delegation, with our utility manager and utility controller, as well as our communications manager. But I do want to kind of highlight two different things. I'll highlight the DC visit here in a minute, but in particular want to flag the Morgantown Avenue Stormwater Project that you all have received updates on. You received that during the budget work sessions around utilities. That is expected to be going out to bid here shortly. We anticipate ads running throughout the month of May with a time frame, I believe, in early June for submission of those bids. And so there'll be a pre-bid meeting. Those emails, just had another one as early as this morning associated with going back and forth with DEP on the ad that will be placed by our engineer of record on that project, Thrasher Engineering. But that project is moving, and we are very hopeful for that to be out to bid. They have a substantial completion date marked in 2027, late 2027, with an ultimate completion in 2028. So, but did want to flag that for City Council that is moving. The other item, talking about the Washington, D.C. visit, I want to thank our congressional delegation, Senator Capito, Senator Justice, as well as Congressman Moore, for them as well as their teams meeting with us around several ongoing projects that we have, but in particular, one of our immediate focuses was around our $10 million congressionally directed spending appropriations request that Senator Capito's office is moving forward. That information hasn't all been released, but we had very good dialogue with them, as well as Senator Justice and Congressman Moore when that reaches the House side of the appropriations process. Again, that $10 million figure is just but a small portion of the overall $108 million Phase 1 sanitary sewer improvements that we are looking for. So it is just one piece of that capital stack that we also believe will be a project that will go over the course of about 5 years in terms of that first phase and $108 million investment. And so look forward to having more information as it relates to the capital stack and the funding associated with that. But that $10 million request looks to be moving forward, and we feel very optimistic that it is being prioritized by our congressional delegation. The other items that we discussed with them in particular was a resubmission of the $1.8 million brownfield grant associated with the Helmick site. As City Council is aware, we submitted last year for that funding. We got very, very close in our after action when we weren't initially successful in our first grant application. The discussion we had with US EPA, in particular the Brownfields Division, was very good, that we were a top scoring applicant, but we just had a couple of tweaks that needed to be made to that, and our staff made those tweaks, so we feel very optimistic on that front. We also discussed our another brownfields grant of $500,000, which is in relation to the assessments. We've been very successful with our existing funding pool that I believe we have completely now drawn down. And so we've been very successful with that. There are still additional brownfield projects that we can engage around. And so we've put in another request there. And we feel very optimistic on that front too. Another particular grant that we discussed was a $1.55 million USDOT build planning grant that we submitted for around Locust Avenue as we updated City Council. That grant is very, I'll just put it there. There's a lot of grants on the federal government side. That grant in particular, the U.S. Secretary of Transportation has significant authority over the awardees of that. So just to be frank, it is a very political process. So having that discussion with our congressional delegation as it relates to that grant opportunity was very beneficial. They were very receptive to that. I think in particular with WVU Medicine's announcement of a new wing to the hospital at about a $68 million project, as well as the continual investment that Fairmont State University is looking at doing along Locust Avenue from a public-private partnership standpoint. All of those future-oriented things. Locust Avenue has had for years significant flooding issues as well as pedestrian-related safety issues. And so if we can begin to lay out the framework of the funding associated with this, would have us fully design and create a shovel-ready project and then be primed for a much larger build construction grant, which could be upwards of about $25 million to implement. And so we feel very optimistic on that front. We also discussed just highlighting a EDA water project funding side in relation to the technology park, and in particular discussions that we've been having with the West Virginia High Technology Foundation and boosting additional water production capacity in that area of Whitehall and in the technology park, and building better resiliency within our water system in that location. So again, very successful meetings. They went very well. My hat's off. There were different scheduling things as while we are very important to our congressional delegation, they have certain things that they have to participate in. And unfortunately, why I feel like I'm a fairly big star going to Washington, D.C., I do not outrank the King of England, so I think he certainly stole the limelight in D.C. from me. But the meetings were very productive. I give Congressman Moore a lot of kudos for stepping out of an Appropriations Committee meeting that he was in to meet with us to discuss some of these funding issues. Our delegation works very, very well together. We continue to build that. As you have heard me echo time and time again, partnerships are extremely valuable. No one can accomplish anything on their own. We need partnerships. Partnerships are what get things done. And we have built very strong relationships with our congressional delegation, and we want to continue to do that. And so, very successful trip. I look forward to providing City Council more information associated with these grants and the funding opportunities that we see before us as we move forward. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, moving on to consideration of council business. We have one item of pending business before us this evening. If the city clerk would read that by title, please.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Fairmont providing for the rezoning of the certain tracts or parcels of real estate situated in the City of Fairmont, Grant Annex District, Marion County, being parcels 12, 12.1, 14, 15, and 48 of Marion County Tax Map 04-02 and parcel 98.2 of Marion County Tax Map 04-07, said tracts or parcels of real estate being rezoned from general residential to neighborhood residential and providing for an amendment to the zoning map to the City of Fairmont.
Thank you. Do I have a motion, a second, to approve this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion regarding this ordinance? As hearing none, I will ask the city clerk for a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Wade,
Yes.
Councilmember McDaniel,
Yes.
Councilmember Moran,
Yes.
Councilmember Rice,
Yes.
Councilmember Newsom,
Yes.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Weber,
Yes.
Councilmember Sol,
Yes.
Mayor Bolliard.
Yes. Moving on to new business. The first item we have is the introduction, first reading, and setting a public hearing. If a city clerk would read that by synopsis, please.
An ordinance authorizing the renewal of a certain letter of credit number 2001-525 in an amount not to exceed $750,000 issued by West Banco Bank to the City of Fairmont for purposes of satisfying a portion of the self-insured security and insurance requirements of the West Virginia Workers' Compensation Act for fiscal year 2026-2027. By this proposed ordinance, the Council for the City of Fairmont authorizes and approves the renewal of the West Banco Bank irrevocable letter of credit number 2001-525 in the amount not to exceed $750,000, and further authorizes the city manager or his designee to do all things reasonable and necessary to in connection therewith, including full power and authority to execute and deliver on behalf of the City of Fairmont any and all necessary documents and to pay any and all necessary premiums. The irrevocable letter of credit fulfills a portion of the city's self-insurance requirement under the West Virginia Workers' Compensation Act to provide security and insurance to protect against the risk associated with injuries arising in the course of scope of employment, including the risk of catastrophic injury. The final amount of the letter of credit will be fixed by the supplemental resolution of council as directed by the State of West Virginia Workers' Compensation Division, predicated upon an audit of the city's account.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second to set this public hearing for May 13, 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion regarding this before we set the vote? As hearing none, all those in favor for setting the public hearing for May 13th, 2026, please respond with aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That public hearing is now set for May 13th, 2026. The next item is the consideration, the adoption of a resolution. If the city clerk would read that by synopsis, please.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Fairmont authorizing the adoption of the City of Fairmont Flexible Benefit Plan, Cafeteria Plan, to be effective July 1st, 2026. Ratification. By this proposed resolution, the Council of the City of Fairmont provides for the approval, adoption, execution, and delivery of the City of Fairmont's Flexible Benefit Plan or Cafeteria Plan document for full-time employees for the plan year beginning July 1st, 2026. The form of the plan is attached. The resolution further ratifies, confirms, and approves all acts taken in furtherance of the subject matter of his resolution, which may have been taken by the City of Fairmont prior to the adoption of the same.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion regarding the resolution? As hearing none, I will ask the city clerk for a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember McDaniel,
Yes.
Councilmember Weber,
Yes.
Councilmember Horton,
Yes.
Councilmember Newsom,
Yes.
Councilmember Wade,
Yes.
Councilmember Sol,
Yes.
Councilmember Moran,
Yes.
Councilmember Rice,
Yes.
Mayor Bolliard.
Yes. The next item is also the consideration, the adoption of a resolution. If the city clerk would read that by synopsis, please.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Fairmont authorizing the City of Fairmont purchasing procedures revised as of July 1st, 2026. By the proposed resolution, the Council for the City of Fairmont approves the City of Fairmont purchasing procedures revised July 1st, 2026. These revised procedures are intended to provide, in part, for the efficiency, competency, and operation of government relating to the procurement of goods and services, and shall supersede and replace any and all prior versions of said procedures.
Thank you. Do I have a motion and a second to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion regarding this resolution? As hearing none, I will ask the city clerk for a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Rice?
Yes.
Councilmember Sol?
Yes.
Councilmember Newsom?
Yes.
Councilmember Weber?
Yes.
Councilmember McDaniel?
Yes.
Councilmember Wade?
Yes.
Councilmember Horton?
Yes.
Councilmember Moran?
Yes.
Mayor Bolliard?
Yes. And last but not least, do I have a motion and a second to adjourn our meeting this evening?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor for adjourning, please respond with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?